Hey real estate agents, welcome to Making a Smarter Agent, your program to find out all the tips and trends as told by the great ones in real estate. What's a great one? Someone that's able to make money and still keep their head on straight. Let's face it, this is a tough business. We interview tough people who seem to make it look easy. I've got a very special guest on today, a friend of mine, somebody who's really done some remarkable things both with video and social media. Ivan Estrada. Ivan, how are you?
I'm good, Ed. How are you?
Any better, I die laughing. I want to jump
you're at a bar at...
I'm at a bar. Okay. Look, like I said, I kept up with my end of the bargain. I showed up. Okay. Let me, you got to actually switch the backgrounds here. Maybe make it a little bit more impressive here. A little bit better.
There we go. Yeah, okay. That looks great.
Something? Okay. So, Ivan, we've known each other for a little while. We both have our same company in common. Making a Smarter Agent is a podcast geared at other real estate agents. We've got many of us on right now, and I'm going to encourage people to ask you some questions. But just to get it started, how did you get started in real estate, and tell us exactly where you serve?
So I got started 11 years ago. I originally went to USC Marshall School of Business, Leventhal School of Accounting. Originally, the plan was investment banking. And one thing led to another. I ended up at Deloitte & Touche. And then McGladrey, got my C.P.A. license, worked as a C.P.A. in audit and tax for 3.5 years. And it just wasn't what I wanted to do. It wasn't my purpose. It wasn't fulfilling me in any way, shape, or form. But the skills that I acquired there, the work ethic, most importantly, because I was working 80 hours a week in public accounting, which I still do now. But when you're working 80 hours a week, but you love what you do, it's a very different feeling at the end of the day. And my office is in Beverly Hills. My team and I, it's the greater Los Angeles area, from, I would say, downtown to Malibu, which takes you 30 minutes. And right now with the whole pandemic, it takes you 22 minutes. So it's the greater Los Angeles area, and we are expanding into Orange County. So out to Laguna and Newport. I have an agent out there that will be joining my team, so we'll be able to cover that area as well, because we have a lot of people from Los Angeles moving out to Orange County.
Sure. You know, what's interesting, I was thinking about the fact that you're a C.P.A. and the fact that you're a social media dynamo when it comes to actually generating business. Those are two skill sets that normally don't overlap. Now, I hope I'm not cursing at you by saying that.
No. I've always been very left brain and right brain, right? I was able to, luckily, I've been able to blend the two. I've been a chameleon of when I need to be logical and when I need to be systematic, I can do that. But when I need to be creative and I need to think on the fly, I can do that as well. Sure. That was originally my career as a kid. I was signed to a record company. I was a singer. I was a songwriter. So I played the piano. I was always a very creative type. The logic and the systems and the accounting and the finance came into play because my dad wanted me to be an accountant. I've always been good at numbers, always been good at businesses, from holding our yard sales when I was 6 years old and having a yard sale every month and learning how to negotiate for my mom. It came natural to me to be able to do both. So I feel very lucky to be able to do both, sometimes at the same time. Obviously, for me, it works better to be able to, when I need to be creative, I can be creative, but just be creative. And I usually do time block for that. I don't try to do both at the same time, because it's not as productive as just focusing on one thing, right? Okay. I've tried to do that my whole life.
We've got some questions coming up. I think Tinka's going to have a question for you in a minute, but I wanted to find out from you specifically. I know, everyone watching this needs to look at, there's a link in Facebook here to connect with Ivan. If you want to learn about the kind of content that actually helps you make money, I would strongly recommend you take a critical look at what he's got going on. I just think that every moment that you've put online seems to resonate very, very well. And it makes me want to ask and get into this, because this podcast is for agents trying to make more money. How many how much of your business is coming through social media these days? Can you quantify it for us?
If I had to quantify it, which I do, I would say a good 45%, 43.5 to be exact, but almost 45% comes through social media, which is, I would say it's a combination of the years that I've been putting into social media. It's been the content creation, which we have a big Monday meeting every Monday from 12 to 1, where we think about what the content that we're going to push that week. But we also have a monthly meeting where we aggregate all the ideas. And then on Monday, we decide, okay, this week, based on what's going on out in the world, what do we think we should push out to this week? Because if there's something that's trending, we want to make sure that we're on top of that in any way, shape, or form that we can. So it's been the timing.
No, I'm good. I'm on a Zoom right now.
Content creation. It's also been I love social media. It's something that I'm very passionate about. I enjoy it. I always want to know more about it because Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, they're constantly changing. Algorithms are constantly changing. The tools that are given to us as business owners are constantly changing. And so I'm always staying abreast of what's going on through, either webinars such as yours or just going on YouTube and just searching. I use a big chunk of my time on the weekends to explore technology, to explore social media, to explore my own systems, and to figure out what's working, what's not, and what needs to be tweaked.
Sure. So, the first thing you said was 43.5%. How are you tracking that? I yell at everybody all the time. We need to track. And that jumped up like, whoa.
I track everything. So I track for social media aspects. I have a KPI index, which is a key performance indicator. So that tells me everything on my social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, everything from subscribers to views to comments to open rates on if we're doing something through BombBomb that we're funneling through YouTube. So I keep that. I look at that. If not daily, I would say weekly because it gets updated weekly. On the business standpoint, I keep a chart of current clients that are 30 days away from buying, 60, 90, 6 months to a year, and then my closed clients and where that business is coming from. I keep track of all of that. That's very important to me because I need to know where my business is coming from. And if there's a big chunk that's coming through, let's say social media, which it does, I double down on that. I mean, during this whole pandemic, March to now, I tripled my marketing budget. One, because people were pulling back from Facebook and Instagram, and it became a lot cheaper to mass market. So I use this time to acquire more market share and create more content to be able to get that attention, to be able to get more eyeballs onto my social media platforms and my website.
Okay. Now, if I'm getting too pushy, let me know. What's the budget? What is Ivan? What gets Ivan's phone ringing?
I'll give you a percentage. Of. I spend about 25% of my budget towards not marketing my listings, but marketing myself. So 25% of what I make every year goes to market Ivan Estrada properties, not the act. And this is away from marketing my listings because it's very, very, very important for me is the brand recognition. Just to give you an idea, I went to Nordstrom's over the weekend to get a tie for Zoom because where else are we going to go? And the guy who was ringing me up said he was probably like 23 or 24 years old. He's like, "You're Ivan Estrada, right? You're the real estate agent. I see all your stuff. You inspire me." When it's stuff like that just pops out of nowhere, like that made my day, obviously. But this is. This was just a kid at a mall who was at the cash register. And, we do send out the mailers and we have advertisements at all the nice car washes in Beverly Hills and West Hollywood. But, when something like that, it was kind of like a little surprise and it shows me that it's working.
Sure. It shows an awful lot. Want to get into more. Tinka, I'd opened it up with a possible question for you. You're muted right now. If you don't mind unmuting yourself. Did you want to jump in? You have anything to ask, Ivan?
Well, I just wanted to find out a little bit more from you, Ivan, on how you come up with topics and how you organize yourself in terms of exactly how to market. You just mentioned you do car washes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my friends here on Zoom have heard me laugh about me getting a park bench recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, it makes me chuckle every time I drive by, but I've never been noticed as much as I have in the last few weeks since this crazy park bench went up. So anyway, if you have a little bit of insight of what you do besides your social media or the topics on social media, that'd be awesome.
So how we come up with our topics is I have on my phone, I keep notes. So I constantly am keeping notes of things that I'm seeing go through my social media or on Google, or things that are coming up that I think are interesting. And I always save them. I save things probably once or twice a day. I take screenshots and I save them on my application Evernote, and I always keep them there. My team, I have trained my team to also keep their eye out. I always say, if there's something that you're seeing that catches your eye, everyone needs to save it on their Evernote so that we can discuss it at the end of the month. And then we throw all our content ideas of someone wants to talk about, in the fall, how about buying your own lake house? Or, okay, well, lake houses where? Okay, well, there's Aspen, so we have a market there. We can talk about New York as well. The Catskills, okay, great. Maybe we can talk about that. So it's been a brainstorm of the entire team, but I think the key is I've trained them to keep their eyes out every single day. I've told them, I need you to take 2 screenshots or have 2 ideas of content that you see that you would like us to talk about. And I never regurgitate content. I don't want to regurgitate content. I want to make sure that it uses us to inspire us to create our own content, but never just copying someone else's. And so that's how we come up with all our content. I tell them, you have to keep an eye out for 2 things that interest you that day that are related to real estate or can be tied back to real estate. Sure. Technology, transportation.
And do you feel it always needs to be real estate related?
It depends on your brand, right? And we can talk about that later, like our brand pillars. We have our 5 brand pillars: that real estate, community, technology, design, and travel. So as long as it lies between those 5 pillars, because under each pillar, in design, we could talk about interior design, we could talk about exterior design, we could talk about architecture, we could talk about a variety of things that fall under each pillar. And so as long as
the pillars again,
like for me, it's real estate, which could be international real estate, local real estate, national real estate, anything that's real estate related, interest rates that fall under real estate. And then we have community. So anything involving the community, which could be philanthropy, it could be community events. It could be something to do with a sponsorship or a fundraiser. If design is, we're talking about interior design, exterior design, architecture types. The other one's technology. So we talk about kitchen technology, new pool technology. We talked about
you had a robot, I think. Didn't you do a robot?
Just thinking about a robot, kitchen robot. So I love tech. So anything that can make our lives easier at home,
sure, I
like to integrate. And then the last one was, I think, design, technology, community, real estate, and travel.
Yeah. Andy in Miami had a question. Andy, you want to chime in for Ivan?
Yes. Hi, Ivan.
Hi.
So I saw you at, I think it was at the beginning of the pandemic. They had you do a hosting of, I think it was social media. It was freaking awesome. I loved it. Thank you for all the info. And I had a question regarding the C.P.A. How do you measure it completely? Is it through Google, or what are you using to measure your social media coming in?
My assistant keeps track of everything. So I tell her weekly on Fridays, what was the update on, like, it's literally a chart with YouTube. Like, we'll have the subject title, YouTube subscribers, likes, comments. And then we'll put on each week, how much did we get on each platform. So that way I see that there's growth, because if sometimes I also have some unsubscribes as well to see if people are unsubscribing. So in YouTube, you can go and check that information on your actual, like if you go up to your like tools, you can get that information. So she goes on there every Friday, goes into the back end of YouTube, gets that information. She goes onto my Facebook business page on the back end, sees that information. On Instagram, she goes on my insights, which is on your phone, and she also grabs that information. So that way I can see what's going on.
Okay. You said something about a key API. So I wasn't sure if it was the one that you use through Google and then you just connected to the back end of your website. So I just wanted to verify if it was something else.
My KPI is a spreadsheet. I keep a spreadsheet that my coach had given to me. It was like a template that then I just adjusted to fit my needs.
And please give everyone the acronyms API.
The key performance indicators.
Okay. Got to make sure we're bombarded with acronyms. So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. In Brooklyn, we've got Terry Robeson. Terry, how are you?
I'm good. Ivan, were your ears ringing yesterday? We were talking about
how are you.
I'm good. Good to see you. I miss you.
Yeah, miss you too.
The band got together yesterday. The bass player released an album.
Oh,
and
fun.
we were talking about the highlights of the shows in the past, and you always come up. So
thank you.
Booyah. So may I say also, for your brand, I personally feel I want to hear you sing more. Why don't you do more of those things?
You know what? Which I will give you some big news. I haven't said this to anyone yet, and there's a reason for it.
Breaking news, folks. It's important.
Really big news, actually, because this has been 2 years in the making for these two big things that are coming out. But I do need, with the singing, I don't know if a lot of people know this. Terry, I think I told you. So several years ago, 3 years ago, I had vocal nodes.
Yes.
Which I had to get surgery for, which kept me from actually speaking for 3 full months. I couldn't say one word.
Wow.
And then after that, I could only speak for 10 minutes on every hour. And so I have to be very, very careful moving forward. Whenever I do sing, I have to make sure that, I'm following technique. And other than being busy in the last couple of weeks, because I have been posting, I did during the pandemic, March, April, May, I was posting some singing videos.
I know, they were awesome, dude. They were awesome.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was so much fun. My neighbors hated me for sure, because I did get text messages. They said, "You're a great singer, but it's 9 p.m. We need to go to sleep." But I mean, I'm gonna try to do some more. I definitely I love it. It is part of my brand. Look, it's, to be in all honesty, when I posted those videos, guys, I had people commenting saying, "Oh, I forgot that you sing. Oh my God, I watched it a couple times. By the way, I'm thinking about buying something in November, and obviously I saw your video. Can you chat this week?" So, it's things that we love to do that other people, like hobbies that we, because when people ask me, should I separate my personal to my business? No, absolutely not. You are your brand. Everything that you do is what you stand for. And for me, music has been a big part of my life. And, other people who appreciate music are going to appreciate you for being the musician, the singer, the violinist. But then they're also going to, it was funny. One guy said, "I see that you definitely practice, because this just wasn't on the fly." And I said, "You're right." So that means you take time on practicing your craft and doing whatever you do it at 100, which shows me that in real estate, you probably do the same thing. He's like, "Am I right or am I wrong?" And I said, "You're absolutely right." Like how we do something is how we do everything. So, that's, I think, tips for all you. If you love cooking, hey, phone live, start cooking, start talking to people. If you like biking, hey, bring people along with you on your bike ride. People love that, especially now. It's, we can't really be incredibly social. So, people can join you like we're doing now. Be alive.
There's never been a better time to produce vicarious entertainment, we'll call it, that people could actually, you're seeing that. I was watching this gamer. He had, I want to say, close to 100,000 live viewers. I'm like, what am I doing watching a video game on? But again, it's cool because I can mention it here. Tina, you've been patient. Tina Newman in New York City. I think you're in New York City for Ivan Estrada.
Yeah, how you doing, Ivan?
Hi, Tina. How are you?
Good to see you. It's always great to see you and learn from you. And I take a lot of joy from knowing that you've been building this over a lot of time. So it gives us, an opportunity to just keep growing. Two things, because that recent desk story that you did in the middle of the street was so out of the box and fresh. I want to just hear a little bit about how you developed that concept, and also, and I know you do this and you've talked about it here, how you were really scheduling this stuff. I think the first step to consistency, and I know Ed does this too, it's the first step is it's always on a Tuesday morning for this. It's always on a Thursday at 11 for this kind of thing. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Sure. So good to see you, first and foremost. So the desk idea, that desk, which isn't my actual work desk, but it was a desk that my sister used that she decorated for her wedding, that she and her partner sat at. And so we were moving the desk. This was in March, the day after or right before we had the stay-at-home order. And I moved the desk and I put it in the middle of the street by accident. And my sister said, "What are you doing? My wedding desk is in the middle of the street." And I took a step back because there was palm trees in the back. And I said, "Wow, this is a great picture." And so then, the desk went away and I told my business coach about it. And he said, wait, there's something here. And this was now 2 days after the stay-at-home order. And he said, "How do you feel about breaking the rules?" And I said, "Well, it depends. Is it going to get me arrested?" He's like, possibly. And so I said, "Okay, tell me more." And he's like, "Well, everything is shut down. As long as you wear your mask, make sure you're responsible. What if you can actually bring this desk and take it on every iconic location in the city and take photos?" And I thought,
we're looking at the desk right now.
So this is one of the photos. And actually every photo means something to me because this is where when I left my accounting job, I took a catering job. That's not me at the desk.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, don't adjust your television set.
But I was a caterer here my first 2 years in real estate to make it through. And so every location has a meaningful connection to myself. And so other than just doing photos, I said, why not bring the whole video crew? And so we took video of everything and we created this beautiful video that's called Los Angeles is More Than Just My Office, It's Home. And we actually created a postcard that's going to be sent out that's gorgeous. It's this booklet that's going to be sent out to my entire farm. They're also going to be through Google Display Network and through Facebook Business Manager are going to be attacked with the videos and my photos. And it just kind of grew. It organically grew from just being inspired by what I saw, which was a mistake, and then telling my coach about it, which then we started bouncing ideas into it. And one thing turned into another. And it was 2 days of shooting from 2 or 3 a.m. till 9 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. It was 7 of us and we had 2 movers that I went to Home Depot. I paid the 2 movers. They helped me for 2 days. And I had the videographer, the photographer, my assistant, and a hair and makeup person to make sure we looked good because we literally had 45 minutes at each location until the cops came. And they all said, "Okay, we see what you're doing. This is cool. We're going to drive around the corner. And in 20 minutes, if you're still here, you're going to get in trouble." And so we were able to kind of pull it off. And that's
it's so cool. What about the scheduling?
So the scheduling, we schedule. So I think someone prior had said about our content that we put out. We schedule it or we brainstorm at the end of each month. For videos that I do, I shoot all of my video content in one day. I spend maybe 24 hours prior to for me to practice the content. But about 4 weeks before I actually shoot, my assistant, I give her all the content, which is content that we talk about during our monthly meeting. We say, where can we put this? Okay, we'll do a blog on this. Okay, what can we do with this? Okay, this could be something we could put on the website. What about this chunk? Okay, I think we need to expand on this and do videos about it. This could be the real estate minute for the month of October. Perfect. Okay, great. So Liana, my assistant, I need you to do more research on that. And I need 3 topics for those 3 minutes, and just shoot me all the details, video content, anything you can find so that I can watch it and then put my own spin to it, my personal view and opinion on it, and then I'll shoot it. And so we shoot everything, if it's video content, in a day for 2 months. So we have 2 months of content. So that way there's no excuse that, oh, well, I got busy this week. I have 2 months of content. So if I know something is coming up that I'm not going to be able to move around, I can then just call my videographer or my assistant and say, look, we're going to have to shoot a week prior. And so I need all the content from then. I mean, from my throat surgery, whenever I couldn't speak for those 3 months, we shot 5 months of content in 2 days, which took a lot of work and effort. But I needed to make sure that we were consistent and that nobody knew that I was in my living room working, not being able to speak for 3 months.
I got it. The whole thought of not speak, I can't shut the fuck up. So to not be able to speak for 3 months, did I just say that out loud? Anyway, to not be able to speak for 3 months, especially when you're in sales and a top producer, no less. I mean, everyone here counts, everyone here matters, but it's really just remarkable how you've catapulted this business into such an extreme, and you've always been very generous with your time. I want to wind it down and then get to introduce everyone here. We will be short ending the audio portion just so that we could enjoy the rest of the meeting, finding out where everyone's from. Is there any other points that you want to make before I go ahead and do that? I will pick Tinka as well right after that.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys the big news because this is big news for me.
Okay.
My book comes out next summer, 2021. It's called Brand with Purpose. It's been a year and a half of hard work. We are now in the final phases of the final manuscript, which it goes to the publisher in November 15th. And then we start marketing it at the beginning of January until summer, called Brand with Purpose. And it's pretty much a toolkit that I with everything, not just what I do, but it's also a procession. It starts when I'm 5 years old, and the importance of what I learned from what the importance of a story is. And it goes progressively through my life, from my music industry days, of things that I learned there until now. And I interviewed 35 professionals, from David Bamber, who created Tom Ford with Tom Ford 30 years ago, to Lizzo, who has created an amazing empire in the music world. We have people from interior design, Tom Ford, we have Lizzo, and some very inspirational people. It's a very global book. For me, this was I wanted to have this book include people from all walks of life, from all parts of the world. We have people from Korea, from Japan, from India, from Dubai. It's a very international book on branding that has worked in many facets, in many different industries. But the message that you find out of all these people is their authenticity and their purpose and passion for what they do. And so it ties all of that together. And for me, it's been a very emotional book to write. I'm so incredibly happy for it to come out next year. And so that's news number one. And then news number two, the creators of Sell It Like Sirhan, for Ryan Serhant, have helped me put together my course, which comes out in the end of November, Let Video Be Your Brand. And it's just like Ryan Serhant's. His is on selling. Mine is about using video to brand yourself. And we go from the mentality aspect, the mental mindset, I don't like how I sound, I don't like how I look, the fear. We have exercises. It's going to be very interactive to be able to break you from that with exercises and videos and a ton of content. It's going to be funny. I love to be funny, so it's going to be funny as well. And that'll come out at the end of November. So of this year. Yeah. Book next year, summer, June 2021. Brand with Purpose, and Let Video Be Your Brand comes out in November.
Making a Smarter Agent would like to thank its 2 sponsors. The first is Organized New York Palm Beach, which you could see on Instagram at the handle Organized Palm Beach. Let's face it, organization stinks. It's tough. Organized New York Palm Beach is the premier organizing company that operates between New York and Palm Beach County, Florida. Go check them out on Instagram at Organized Palm Beach. Also, Rain Nation. That's the Real Estate Information Group Network. Think of it as group therapy for realtors. And you know what? We need it. It's part think tank. It's part coaching. It's all opportunity. Rain Nation, that's REIGNATION. You can find it on Facebook.